Welcome to another episode of Confessions of a Modern Artist. I'm your host, Luke Wynn, and my confession for today, they used to call me Patches. This is my confessional. 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 Y'all, how are y'all doing? I hope everybody's been having a great time. This year has been bananas, right? Especially for artists. If you're an artist out there and you've been following the beef with Kendrick and Drake, I know I've been like, my eyes have been glued. I've been super inspired. It's been such a fun time. I had to take a little fast from social media for a second because I'm like, my mind was kind of like, I was way too into it, way too locked in. But speaking of being locked in, how are you guys doing? Are y'all doing all right? Is everybody good out there? Are you guys still chasing your dreams, chasing your goals? Are y'all like achieving them? Shout out to the homies who are graduating. Miles Ramel, I see you graduating. Shout out to my boy Ricky B. He been grinding, finna drop some music. We finna record next week. I'm excited, y'all. I'm really excited about this episode because I'm switching up the format a little bit. It's gonna be a diary, but at the same time, it has a little more purpose to it. The purpose being, okay, I see my life as a Dave Chappelle bit, right? Where he has this point where he starts and then he somehow gets to the finish line. And it's just dope to see how he connects those. And excuse my voice, I've been under the weather, which is why, there's been a couple weeks of lapse. But anyways, so like I said, I'm going to start these new episodes with a random story about my childhood, but then we're going to talk about an in-depth dissection of my albums. It's so random because, like I said, this episode is titled, When I Was Younger, They Used to Call Me Patches. And, and I'm going to be talking about my album Healed that I just put out in February. Now, why am I dissecting all these albums? Great question. Thank you for asking. So the main reason is this. I have a legacy, right? I have 3 children. All 3 of them are musically gifted, talented, singing musicians. They're going to be amazing. And, Nia, she's only 2 years old. And for the last 12 years straight, I've at least released one single every single year. So starting back to 2011, I dropped my first single. So it's been 13 years. And I don't know how many albums I have. I think I have I'm pretty sure I have enough albums and bodies of work to do 18 episodes. So I'm really excited and we're going backwards. But before we get to the dissection, I want y'all to know that I just dropped the single, which is for my next project. I'm not going to give you guys a name yet, but I dropped a single a couple weeks ago. It was called The Confessional, and it's basically my theme song to this podcast. And, I just had some fun. My brother, he hit me up and was like, Luke, let me get on that. After I showed him the little theme song. So I said, let's turn it into a full song. So you can check that out, The Confessional. It's a 3-part little EP. It's a single, guys. It's the instrumental, the theme music, and then just my verse. Still waiting on his. But I will be dropping an album, if not the end of May, beginning of June. So be ready for that. But without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this new format. So when I was younger, they called me Patches, okay? I'm not talking Patches O'Houlihan. This is before. I was the original Patches O'Houlihan, okay? So me and my family, we had just moved to Las Vegas, Nevada from California. I was about 9 years old, getting ready to go to the 4th grade, and we ended up getting in this house, right? For whatever reason, I'm not going to air out everybody's dirty laundry or whatever, but maybe I was allergic to cats or something like that. I don't know. But when moving into this new house, I ended up getting ringworms. And it wasn't just a calm one, 1 or 2. I had a head full of ringworms. So imagine like a bunch of like white little ashy marks all over my head. Like just, it was bad. And I feel like it was like that it was months. Honestly, I know for a fact I didn't have it in 5th grade. So it could have been all of 4th grade. It was funny, y'all. Like, my sister, she has some pictures. When she gets them, I'll probably share them on social media. But my sister has some pictures of how I looked at that time, which was, like, I wore this dark green hat, like, every single day. Like, every day of the school year, I wore it. Because if I took it off, you would see patches. 2 funny stories from there was, first, shout out to the homie Malcolm. Like he's the one who gave me that nickname. One time I was just sitting at the lunchroom, just minding my business, eating. I was introverted back then. And he comes out of nowhere, takes off my hats and goes, "Patches!" And then just took off running. I thought it was so funny. And then another thing that happened around that time was at my elementary school, David M. Cox, we weren't really allowed to wear like hats or anything like that. Like it was real strict back then. And one lady, this lady who nobody liked, she was such a jerk. She was mean to all the kids. It's like, why are you working with kids if you don't even like kids? You feel me? And she saw me with my hat on and she said, "Take off that hat." I looked at the homie, like, all right. I took it off. And with the exact same expression, she goes, "Put your hat back on." We were dying. It was so funny because it's like she's over here being a jerk for no reason, and this dude got a whole disease on his head. Like, you just gonna be a jerk, not even ask. Didn't inquire about me, didn't tell me to go to the nurse. She was just like, "Put your hat back on and get your dirty self into the lunch line." Okay, so that's a very funny story. And no, I laugh about this, and this isn't me laughing to hide pain, right? Because I was used to being made fun of for my physical elements, right? Sacramento, which I'm gonna always revert back to because as I get older, I realize like just the impact that my first 9 years of life had on me. So living in California, those 9 years, this was just how we communicated. We literally communicated by just roasting each other, making fun of each other. You know, that was like a part of the culture. Like every time we get together, everybody's roasting each other, we're making fun of each other. And then, you know, obviously the easiest targets, me having asthma, allergies, me having, what else? I was like super skinny, you know, always losing, always crying. I was the easy target. So I was used to being made fun of, to the point where when I do get to Vegas, I thought it was weird that nobody made fun of me for my patches. Like it was probably months of me having that to where I didn't hear a single joke. The only joke that they ever gave me was patches, you know? So, yeah, I felt comfortable. I felt really comfortable being open about the flaws that you can see, you know? So me being skinny, to this day, I might say a joke about how skinny I am, how big my forehead is. You know, it's easy for me to make fun of those things, and that's actually a place of comfort. It's not me hiding how I really feel inside. It's not me, you know, trying to, I don't know, because sometimes people like they're hurt by something, but they laugh and try to brush it off. I'm not hurt by anything of my physical appearance. So growing up, that was always like, if I had on some raggedy shoes, I'll be the first one to tell the joke. In school, I had straight A's, but I was a class clown, and I would really clown by just making myself look stupid, you know? Like, I'd be telling jokes, I'd be just acting crazy and being goofy. I was always used to just outwardly, like, just allowing, like, I can be a target, cool. How does that get to, you know, how does that take me to now, right? How does that take me to the album? This album is the first time I was truly vulnerable internally with my emotions, like in the moment. Up until this point, when I started writing Healed, everything that I was writing was always either reflective or it was always reflective. I never wrote something and put something out that I was going through in that moment. And this moment in my music right? And my creativity, this really was my first transcendence. So I'll set the scene for this. The first song on this album is called Patience. And this is like, and I explained this on one of the other episodes. Patience was a very, very real song. This song was, I was in the moment. Me and my wife, there was like this coldness that came, just between us. There was just something just kind of going on, a little bit of frustration on my part because we had just moved to Arizona and things weren't going that great. I was so disappointed in myself by, not being who I thought I would be, by me feeling like God was leading us one direction and then, just constantly going back and forth. Just feeling so disappointed in myself and just feeling like, I was a failure, feeling like I was letting her down, like I was letting my kids down, like feeling like a loser, essentially. I was holding on to so much and it was causing our interactions to shift a little bit. So I finally decide, like, okay, I have so much on my thoughts right now. I have a million thoughts. If I really start trying to explain it to her, she might take it some type of way. So then I decided to just let me go in. It was probably like 11 o'clock at night. Let me just write a song. So I found this little guitar sample, and the way that I was going to be able to kind of like leave it on the table was like, okay, cool. I don't want to write about nothing this personal to me because then I'm going to be getting judged and stuff like that. So I said to myself, yeah, I'm going to write a song for her and Daniel Caesar. So that's me still trying to like hold who I am, hold my emotions, hold my thoughts, feeling guilty of some of the things, feeling like a lot of them are hurtful, a lot of them are embarrassing, having that sense of pride and knowing that I'm going to have to just unveil it all. I chose to just use two people as a medium. I wrote this song and I didn't show this song to my wife for a while. I was really scared. I was so scared because the realness of it was a weight. It really was a weight. So I'm going to share with you guys. We're going to do a breakdown. I'm not going to go line by line, but I do want to share a couple songs that we'll play through it, but we'll get to it. By the way, this song, these are the reference vocals. When I tried to go back and re-sing it, it lost everything. It was way too clean. It's funny because like at certain parts, I'm singing in falsetto, but I don't actually have to sing in falsetto for this. But just me trying to be quiet, me trying not to let her know, it was like a secret, right? So all these elements kind of made the song what it is. And yeah, I thought about adding drums, but this is exactly how it goes. So let's go. I don't deserve you. If you only knew what I never told you. I hurt myself cause it's so absurd, yo. I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly, I guess I just did. I don't deserve you. Let's play that back one more time, sorry. I don't deserve you. If you only knew what I never told you. I hurt myself cause it's so absurd, yo. Are everything to me but I show it so few. I hate to say it but I know it's so true. You deserve only the best of me. While I'm fearful to give you the rest of me. My heart beats for you with sincerity. I'm only at peace when you are here with me. So during this season, like I told you guys, feeling like a loser, feeling like I'm letting her down, not having a job, nothing going the right way. Like I have this innate frustration that's just brewing inside of me. And during that time, I was choosing to look at all her flaws and all the things that she had done to me to kind of like use that as fuel to kind of divide, kind of separate a little bit. And writing this song, I felt so bad because I'm like, how can I express this to her? How can I tell this woman that I love, like, I love you so dearly, I love you so much, like, you mean so much to me, but at the same time, I'm using you as fuel to push you away because I feel like you don't deserve me. You deserve better than me. It's a really, really hard pill to swallow. And see, it's a very hard thing to even talk to someone you love about with, you know? When you're sabotaging the greatest thing that ever happened to you in your life, it's hard. It's hard just to have that conversation. And if you're married, you know exactly what it is. Specifically when you're married, because there's a whole different level of responsibility that you have when you stand before God and say, God, this is the one. I'm giving her my heart. She's giving me her heart. And we're going to be in this forever together, no matter what. But when it all comes down and my thoughts go round and my pain comes out, my vision clouds and my heart it pounds, the past feels now, then I lash out. This in particular is referring to, like I was saying, just allowing past mistakes, past decisions, past things that she may have done to me to become fuel. And now I'm lashing out. So first, I'm sitting there in depression, right? I'm sitting there depressed, angry that things aren't going the way I want them to go, just hurting. And in the midst of that hurt, the devil then comes and kicks me even more. He says, okay, cool, you're sad about this? Bam, be sad about this. Remember when she did this? Remember when this happened? Remember this moment? And now I go spiraling. And this was literally something that would happen so often. Like, just, thank God. I'm so grateful to God that this season is over. But it was just this cycle of, I'd be good, something would happen, I'm let down, I feel like I'm letting down my family, and then bam, it all happens. Bipolar is only the least of it. It's too much for you, question we should split. To live life without you would be a sin. Please be patient with me till we reach the end. Things will get better, yeah. Things will get better, yeah. Things will get better, I promise you, yeah, I promise you. The one thing about this song, that, because when I ended up showing my wife the song, she definitely did get emotional as well. And she wanted to hear it again. And I went weeks without showing her again. But the hope in this song is that I am fully aware of how I am being in our home. I'm fully aware of how I may be damaging you. But I'm not going anywhere. But please be patient because things will get better. It's such a simple message because a lot of times we can become so just weighed down by life that we don't see any hope in sight. And I could be so focused on all the negative that moment of hope that we could get better, that feeling of me being bipolar, right? Where I'm optimistic in one day, then I'm depressed the next day. Like, that hope was so important for me to express to my wife. But I felt like had I actually, went and had that conversation to her, it would sound crazy. That's really how I felt. Another thing that I love about this song is that I'm talking to my wife, but at the exact same time, talking to God. It's like that realization that you can get where you feel like you have a purpose, you feel like you have a calling, you feel like there's a mission that God wants you to be on and you're not doing it. It's like, God, I'm gonna get better. Please be patient with me. And I'm just grateful that I'm still breathing to where I can still fulfill this purpose and this mission that God has in my life. I'm so grateful that I can still fulfill the calling. Essentially, he heard my plea and he gave me grace. Be patient with you? Okay, cool. I'm not gonna let you die in a car accident. I'm gonna let you keep seeing, keep moving forward in your life. But I'm not gonna be waiting forever. And that's the one thing that I always knew in the back of my head, whether it be God or my wife. I knew I wasn't gonna let them wait forever. I knew there was going to get to a certain point where I had to just cut it out and just go forth, be the man who I needed to be the man of God he wanted me to be. But in that season, it was just hard to see anything because when you're drowning financially, when your wife is pregnant, when, you already have 2 kids, already moved in a different state, things aren't going the way you want. Like, I was just trying to have somewhat of a level mind, a level head, and just, keep myself from drowning. Ultimately, I do love that I started this album out like this because this completely sets the tone for the vulnerability that I would continue to go on. This album is very personal. I say a lot of things in this project that mean so much to me deeply. And I'm grateful that I was able to share it with you guys. On to the next song. Before I play this song, let's call Josiah. Josiah, welcome to Confessions of a Modern Artist. I am the host, Luke Wynn, and we are talking about my album, Heal, right now. You've heard it, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm going to keep it a bean, y'all. Every month, every week, I look through my streams. I'm always getting plays in the Florida area. And I know
sir.
I know that's only one person. It is Josiah. Maybe I got more fans, but yeah. So Josiah, first of all, and we're taking a quick break because I'm over here getting emotional. We're only on track 1. But what are your thoughts on the project, man?
Man, I think the project is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Love them. My favorite songs are definitely going to have to be Questions. You got Perfect. You got Fix. I was about to say Broken. And then Tempo. Those are my top 4 songs, man.
Thanks, bro. What stood out the most to you with this album? Because one thing that I realized, and you're one of my faithful listeners, this is such a pivot from most of the music that I make that the algorithm had no idea what to do with it. Like, I got on no playlist. I got 0 love, bro. I went from I think I had almost 3,000 listeners the month before I dropped. After I dropped it, I'm down to 200 listeners.
Dang.
So what about this project really stuck with you?
Well, of course, the elephant in the room that you sung most of it, which I think was really not only bold but dope of you, to be honest. And just the vibe that it gave. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do what I now know is called the sneeze.
Sneeze.
To about 50% of the album. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what stood out the most. I think I've mentioned this before, but just even the vibe of the first song. There's one Justin Bieber song that I actually like, and it gave me a vibe like that too. So it was pretty interesting to hear you sing and stuff like that.
Thank you. It's so funny because, I definitely, in my head, y'all, I always wanted to be Bieber level. I was like, God, use me to the highest level possible because that's what you deserve. If I can be on that level of Bieber with just with a guitar, or an Ed Sheeran, a guitar and just words that just impact and penetrate people, that'd be a lot. But another funny thing about what you said was, and I got the Hollywood sign behind me today. I made the majority of this album, I actually wrote it in California. So I went to California I had a meeting that could have been a Zoom, but Diana was out of town. So I said, let me just drive to Cali real quick. So I went to Cali and had 3 or 4 days just to vibe out. And I was listening to the homie Blast. Shout out to Blast. He's so nice. And that just gave me this vibe of just this Cali, just this fun bounce. So that's why you get songs like Questions, songs like, Perfect, that have that just that groove to it, I also did Mr. Incredible out there, which is also just this slow, it feels like you're close to a beach in some of these songs,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you said you had a question about Tempo. What was your thoughts about that song?
Yeah, I wanted to know what your what inspired you to write Tempo. I like the bilingualness to it, I like everything about it. But personally, what inspired you to write it?
Okay, so when we had just moved from Reno, Okay, so on the way from Reno to LA, so we were gonna we were moving to Phoenix, right? But first Diana had like a class to do in LA for like 3 or 4 days. So we drove from Reno to LA first, packed all our stuff up. Alex drove our stuff from Reno down to Phoenix. And then we drove from Reno to LA. On the way down there, there's this Colombian artist named Camilo, who Diana would listen to some of his songs. She said, oh, he's Christian. Oh, look, him and his wife are so cute. She showed me some of his songs, and I was like, I don't know, I guess. And then like on the way over there, I was like bored because I was just listening to like Todd Delaney and stuff like that the whole time. So I said, you know what, let me put this album on. And I just pressed play, and I was blown away, bro. Like, the music was so talented. It was so different because it has that but it was slower, you know? Like all the other stuff is like you know? But his whole album was just like like it was like super just calm and mellow, and I fell in love with it. So that by the time and I had just heard it, like, so by the time we get to Phoenix and we get settled in at the place, like, I was like, yo, I kind of want to be the Christian version of him. So then you heard Suavemente, right? That I made?
Yeah.
She
Come on,
liked
bro.
me suave. So I was already on this like Latin kick.
I showed people that song. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was already on like this little Latin kick. So then once I got here, like when we first touched down in Phoenix, bro, having our own apartment, like just being in a new city, something that's just so new and so fresh, it felt so good, bro. Like, so then I was like, so then my message to myself was, don't get too far ahead, you know? So that's why it's like, slow down the tempo, don't worry, we'll take it real slow. All that is because I was like, let me just slow it down and make sure I enjoy every single moment of this next season with my family.
Right. Gotcha.
Did I know that the following months was going to be pretty wild? No, but at least at that moment, it just was this reminder of you've come a long way, but don't go too far ahead of your family. And that's where I'm at right now.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah, man. But thank you for being on the call, Josiah. I really appreciate you, man. You've always been a day one. Love you, bro.
Yeah. Love you too. Hey, can I say one more thing?
Yep.
Hey, to all the ladies out there, check this out. If you have a TV with LEDs, put the LED to red, right? Go to Spotify on your TV. Play Perfect on your TV with the lights off and just the LED.
Speaking of Perfect, before you get off the phone, what are your thoughts on that song? Because, and we're going to get to that sooner, later. But when I wrote that song, like, I was letting Diana my intentions were, you're not perfect. You know you're not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I am also fully aware that, you know, you're flawed. But it doesn't even matter. And look what God can do through you. So in the moment I wrote it, that was my intentions. But then, like, and keep in mind, you guys, I wrote all these songs in 2021. So fast forward like 2-3 years, I'm like, ooh, is this empowering, or is this kind of like, what do you think?
I think it's empowering. So for one, you know, it gave me brownie points with mine. You know what I'm saying? So,
really?
and in fact, she downloaded the song and she loves it. Yeah, because like it says the truth. She says all my mind when she gone, and all that, and then it says that she handles her own. You know what I mean? Like it's a very empowering thing to show people that, you know, you might not be like what you want to be or what you think you need to be, but that's not even what's important. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I personally feel too about other people. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a very empowering song. Just everything you say in it. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you, man.
Of course, man.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna be out there in Miami pretty soon, bro.
I'll be out there at the end of this month too.
Hey, I love you, bro.
I love you.
Peace. Yeah, y'all. That was my brother Josiah. He's always been rocking with the music. I remember when I won this award, hold up, y'all. When I won this Forte Award, the Reno Tahoe Forte Award for Best Hip Hop Vocalist in the city, there was only 2 people with me. Who were those 2 people, you ask? And this was 2017, y'all. This is 2017. Who are those 2 people who was with me? Josiah and my wife, Diana. I'll show some pictures. It was fun. It was a good night. Did I think I was gonna win? Heck no. Half my life, I had to fight. The majority of my life, y'all, like, man, I lost so many competitions. When he said my name, it was wild. But we're gonna go to that later. Let's continue with the music. So the next song we have is Questions. Hey! I own all the rights to these songs, by the way. I don't care about the past, cause it's past tense. I've been running back, not a man. Don't care about how you acting. All right, so straight off the back, right? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but this is an answer. This is almost my own response to my inner thoughts from the first track. In that first track, I talk about when I think of the past, I start spiraling out of control, you know? Like I just thinking about the past, thinking about old things that happened. Now, like I'm going up and down. This next song is like, okay, hold up, pause. I'm no longer gonna allow your past or my past to haunt me to the point where I just keep going through this up and down struggle. I just keep getting so frustrated and so mad, and I'm happy one day, I'm sad the next. Like, nah, forget all that. Like, I mean this. Like, I don't care about the past because it's past tense, and I'm a running back, not a Manning, and that's a little wordplay with, you know, Manning. He's a quarterback and he passes the ball. Like, no, I'm running. I'm going forward, and I want you. And I only have one question: are you gonna have my back? Like in the past, we both may have made our mistakes. We both had our flaws. But going forward, are you going to have my back? Can I trust you? That's really what I want. Can you prove to me like that I'll be able to trust you? And it's just a simple yes, but also with your actions. So let's continue this. My absence, just have my back when we face it, come in traffic. Yeah. Are you going to have my back? Are you gon' have my back? Hey, I made all these beats, y'all already know this. You gon' have my back? Are you gon' have my back? When the money coming in and the hate scar. Yeah, and basically that song is just, it's almost like a 21 questions type vibe where I'm just asking her questions. And, obviously it's a little bit of a bop if I do say so myself. But the whole moral of that story is just the questions part. Like, I'll do my part. I'll erase everything from the past, but in the future when we do come up against certain things, when we do have to face certain obstacles, are you going to be there with me? Because that's all that matters. The past is over. Now we get to go to question. Perfect. She ain't perfect. I'm sorry. I already explained this a little bit to Josiah, but yeah, we got the Hollywood sign on behind me because this song, Perfect, like it's just a Cali vibe. I wrote it when I was in California, and it was such an interesting experience. I literally was just in my cousin's house in a room. She did not bother me at all for like 4 days. And I would just sit there and I would just write, produce, make a record or whatever, lay down and like just, kind of rinse and repeat. But I felt like, so before that, she had been with her family for that week. The week leading up to me going to LA and making these records, I had a job interview, right? So we had been in Phoenix for about, let's say like 5 months. I did not have a job. I was working with my dad, but I was doing Instacart, had some unemployment, but it hadn't started yet. This was 2021 when, the prime years of being unemployed. And I remember, so she went out of town to her mom's, because it was like a birthday party. So she just said she was gonna stay the whole week. I think Ellie had like fall break. So I had this job interview, put on my 3-piece suit. I'll probably play the video for y'all later. And I didn't end up getting the job, which was funny. But during that time of me being by myself, I was really reflecting because like when someone's right next to you, it's easy to make them your punching bag. But then when they leave, all of a sudden you miss them. You realize how stupid those thoughts were, how stupid your actions were, how ridiculous you were to be next to someone who you absolutely admire and adore and take them completely for granted. Like it's a wild thing to do. And in that week leading up to me leaving to go to LA, I was just like feeling so dumb and so small and little. So then when I get to LA and I make a beat and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna write about? I end up writing this song. I think this was the second or third song I made. I want to say this was the second song. And the feeling that I got was me being so hard on her towards her imperfections is pushing her away. Her imperfections from the past, imperfections from like our interactions, me wishing that she would handle certain things differently. Like I'm pushing her away. Not only because of me actually doing it, but she's withdrawing herself from me because she sees that, I'm throwing her flaws in her face. So this song, this was my anthem to my wife to say, baby, first of all, I apologize. I apologize for ever bringing up any of your mistakes, for ever bringing up any of the past, because I'm not perfect and you're not perfect. And our marriage is centered around Christ. So since our marriage is centered around Christ, I look at you through his lens anyways. Let's replay it. So it's like, yeah, you're not perfect, I'm not perfect. Let's be imperfect together. You feel me?
She ain't perfect, and I don't care. Been through a lot, proof that she don't tear. I can see her heart prove that she's so rare. In another altitude, can't compare. She stay on my mind when she gone. But I know she always come home. Never steps off of her throne. She a queen, she handles her own.
So, the whole point is, you ain't perfect and I don't care. But I'm not gonna fail to acknowledge what you've been through, what I've been through. I'm gonna acknowledge the fact that I do see your scars, I do see your blemishes. I'm not gonna hide it under the rug and put up some facade as if you're just this perfect person and we're just this amazing couple and let's broadcast our life on Instagram. No, like, I understand, like, I'm completely aware of where we both are at, but I do not care. That's no longer gonna hinder me from loving you. It's not gonna stop me from treating you right. Your imperfections are not gonna cause me to bully you, to push you away, to treat you like a punching bag. No, I see your imperfections and I love you with them. So even when we're 99 years old and we're wrinkled and we're fat and we're missing teeth, and I'm still gonna love you. I'm still gonna see you for the beautiful person God created you to be.
I knew you was a queen when I met you. Heartbroken, you came on schedule. No, you're not a rebound, I'm not Westbrook. Try to get away from me, I could not let you. Thought you was an angel, fell from heaven. Shocked me a little bit unexpected. Every word you speak so impressive. Check my memory, numb at your info.
This whole verse is just me reflecting on, speaking of the past, right? When I fell in love with her in the past, how special she was. When I fell in love with her in the past, I was so infatuated by all the good parts of her, I didn't even notice the negatives. Like, if she didn't tell me her story, I would have not known if she didn't tell me her story, I would not have known that she had gone through anything because of how special and perfect she was. But in that time frame, I'm just this young 24-year-old kid meeting this woman who is crying to me in the lobby of a county jail. Like, I would have never known, like, she wasn't spectacular unless she opened her mouth and said it. And I wanted to make it a point here going forward that I'm always going to remember those feelings. I'm going to always remember the feelings of infatuation, the feelings of love, the feelings of puppy love that I had for you, far beyond any feelings that's ill towards you. I'm going to allow that to carry a lot more weight.
You told me every detail, been through a lot, I know that you've seen hell. If you said nothing, how could we tell? I guess you're a miracle wrapped in retail. And you got a sweet smell. Chanel number 9, that's a mean spell. Been through a nightmare, now my dreams real. I was dreaming about you when I was a teen. She ain't perfect.
Yes. My dad always used to say that I was going to marry a Mexican girl. Not because I showed any preference, and my first wife was black, but she just, everything about my wife, like she's everything that I always wanted in a woman. Like her innocence, her beauty. I love her voice. Okay, we're not about to go that deep, okay? I'm up here rubbing my knees, getting all hot in here. All right, y'all. Next song, Let Me Love You, which is, this is definitely my favorite song on the project. And I think this was like the 4th song that I wrote in LA. And I only wrote like 6 or 7 songs in LA, and 5 of them are on here. One of them I gave to my brother. They were on his other project. That is still not on iTunes. Jay, if you're seeing this, I know you probably aren't, put your album back on Apple Music, Spotify, and iTunes, please. Thank you. It's called The Layover. It's fire. I spent so much time mixing and mastering that project. For it to not be on Apple Music or Spotify is a slap in my face. All right. Let's go to it.
I know you've been through it, yeah. I know toxic energy, you used to it, yeah. I know.
So, the first, like I said, I'm not trying to act like a fortune teller on this album or like I'm just this, magical Negro who just knows everything. But it was absolutely necessary for me to just acknowledge everything. This song, the original song for this is called Private Lessons. And this is, once again, it's a reflection of, it's a remembrance of when, our first date. And after, or the first, it's like let's say the first year of our relationship. During that time, well, the reason why it's called Private Lessons is because our first date, the reason why this was called Private Lessons is because our first date was supposed to be a piano lesson. I was supposed to teach her how to play the piano. Hey guys. I was supposed to teach her how to play the piano. Baby, yes? Come here real quick. Come here. I'm just doing a breakdown of the album.
A bank account?
A breakdown.
Cool.
So right now I'm talking about our first date. How our first date was supposed to be.
Are you live?
Yeah. No, I'm just recording. But I'm going to keep this, obviously. Okay. So our first date, it was just supposed to be a piano lesson. And you had just come. She was a house cleaner. What did you call yourself?
Oh, wow. You're going to say all this?
Yes. At the time, she was a house cleaner, guys. So she had her own business. And so we met. It was a Saturday. And I remember she said she was like really feeling some kind of way because her hands smelled like fabulous. Her hands smelled like cleaning supply. I remember I asked her, "Can I smell your hands?" And she was like so nervous. But eventually, but I want y'all to know, like, I was very organized. I had, hey poodle. Did that still say record?
Yeah.
Okay. I was very organized. I had papers, paperwork. We met at Barnes and Noble. It was
You had a whole book.
I had a book. We were ready. And I remember we must have been talking about music notes and stuff like that for like maybe an hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. And I was single. I had nothing else to do that day. And so I was like, you know what? All these, because I was teaching her theory, So you know what? This would make a lot more sense if I showed you on the piano. Can we go to Guitar Center? So she was like, yeah.
Which is next door.
It wasn't next door. It was like a mile away.
It was?
Yeah, she's right now in Virginia. Well, make sure you guys don't bump into that.
Can we go next month?
Hmm?
Can we go next month?
Go where?
To guitar. What is it called?
Guitar Center, yeah.
Yeah. So we can go.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so then we go from Barnes & Noble, then all of a sudden we find ourselves at Guitar Center. I'm practicing, showing her some keys. I don't know if she remembers anything.
No.
Me neither. And I barely play the piano right now, which is so funny. This was 7-8 years ago. So then we go, while we're there, I'm like, okay, cool. This lesson is starting to wrap up, but I still don't want to leave her yet. So, hey, are you hungry, beautiful? She says, yeah. Like, hey, do you like sushi? So then,
I love sushi.
yeah, so she likes sushi. So we ended up driving a few more miles down the road.
No, that was like 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, was it? Well, it just took a while to get there. Oh, keep in mind, you guys, at this time, this is going to be the longest. This is going to be a 2-hour podcast or whatever. Keep in mind, my car had tape on the bumper, right? So we drive up to Guitar Center. I'm showing her some of my music, some of the stuff that I did for my sisters. She's just enamored by it. I'm like, relax, chill. It's just me.
I knew he was the one. I was like,
Yeah.
he's going to take me to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
need to live in the house.
Wait, and here we are, Ellie. We're in Hollywood.
Yay!
I was right.
So, anyways, so then we get to the sushi place, and it's a Saturday at a sushi restaurant, so we had to wait. This girl helped me tape up my bumper, you guys. Like, she got down and dirty. It was a lot. It was a lot of tape. It was half clear, half black, half gray tape. It was a Dodge Charger, too. It was a nice car, but it was both bumpers, the front and the back bumper was.
Ghetto.
So when I noticed her doing that, she wasn't judging me. She was still dope. And then we go into the restaurant. And at this point, my last relationship was so toxic. I wasn't allowed to laugh in public. I had to only smile. I mean, I couldn't smile. Like, anything I did was embarrassing to her. So I made a point in my mind. I was like, the next person I get with, Ellie, just back up. The next person I get with, I'm not gonna restrain who I am. I'm gonna be the most exaggerated version of myself possible. So then we go and we sit down, and I am extremely loud, boisterous. I'm like pushing her chair into the middle of this little restaurant, doing all this stuff. And the whole time she was laughing. That's when I fell in love, you guys. I'm like, wait, so you love me for me? I was like, what? This isn't too much. You're not embarrassed. You're not calling me immature. I was like, what? Wow. Keep in mind, this wasn't even supposed to be a date. If I'm being honest, I did feel like the night before when we talked on the phone, I felt like I was going to fall in love with her, but that's a whole different situation. Anyways, so then we go from sushi, and then we watch a movie. It was just this whole thing. But all that stemmed from me asking her if she wanted a private lesson in playing piano. So then when we get to this song, Let Me Love You, which used to be called Private Lessons, this was me just reminding her that the same way I loved her when we first got together is the same way I'm going to love her now. And I just wanted to reflect on the fact of what she knew, everything that she came with. She knew her baggage. She knew her hurts. She knew her flaws. And as she would tell me and pour things out to me, in my heart always like, I know, but I have the answer. Let me love you through it. Let me love you through your insecurity. Let me love you through your hurts, through your pains, through your flaws. But just give me that opportunity. So now we're going to play the song again. And yeah. Let's keep it going. How many minutes to say on there, baby?
22.
Okay, here we go. Ooh. was clean. Yeah. Yeah.
I know you've been through what you've been through, yeah. I know toxic energy you used to it, yeah. I know they claim to help, just wanted you in good. I know think you too much, believe that you a mess. I know you heard it once, then twice, you sick of it. I know you think we all the same, just different threads.
Another thing about this song is the fact that my wife she's like 3 years older than me, which it's actually a lot when you're in your 20s, right? It's a lot more life. So me being 24, her being 27, she'd experienced 3 more years of adulthood than me. So when she looked at her life and she looks at herself, she views it from this lens of she really knows what life is about. She's seen some of the worst people, some of the best people, versus me growing up in church, sheltered, being married. I was always living my life in such a small box that it's almost like she was trying to bring awareness to almost to push me away at times. Like, hey, you're not going to like me because of this. Hey, you should run away because of this. And I was like, I know all those reasons. I know you've been through it. I know you're used to dealing with men who lie to you. I know you're used to dealing with men who just want you in bed. But now it's time to let me love you.
Know the pain you feel inside will never heal. And all we do is cause you pain so you don't want me here. Wait, let me help you out. Do more than take you out. Before I make you smile, restructure your foundation now. I see that your vision's blurry. Can I please erase it, class? Let me teach you a lesson. Class instruction now. Let me love you.
I remember when I showed her that song, she said she was just bawling. Because like I said, after going months with this uncomfortable silence, going months feeling like, what she once had is no longer there, that was the message that she needed to hear at the time. She needed me to remind her, I know everything that you've been through. I know all the hurts that you've gone through. We've spoken, I know, but I still want to love you. And honestly, I feel like this song really started a healing process in both of us, especially in our relationship. Last thing, before I start that song, that Let Me Love You song also will minister to me because I realized that was God saying the exact same thing to me. Luke, I know what you're going through. I know you're going through it, you're angry, you're frustrated, things aren't going your way, but let me love you through your process. Let me love you through this season in your life. Let me love you through these hurts, through these pains, through your frustrations. And I get just as emotional listening to that song because it's comforting to know that God wants to love me through my pain. He wants to love me through my hurts, through my frustrations, through my mistakes, through my anger. God wants me to love me through it. And that was one of my favorite songs on the project because I feel like that's a message that everybody needs to understand. A lot of times we make mistakes in life and we feel so disgusted with our behavior, so disgusted with our actions that we choose to just walk away from God. We choose to just go and do our own thing, not because we feel like we're better than God, but we feel like we're so low, we're so just disgusting that we don't deserve to even go before him. But that's the lie, because the truth is, even in the midst of that, the Bible says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died to save us. So that means when you're yet in your sin, when you are making your mistakes, when you are frustrated, he died on the cross so that we can now go to God and say, God, please forgive me. You know I'm struggling, I'm going through it, but I need you so much right now. So that's one of my favorite songs on the album. Now let's get to Broken. Yeah. Let me be real with you for a second. Yeah. I always had you on my broke days.
Water to the brim, I was choking. When I looked in the mirror, I was broken. My security, it was stolen. In the ring life, had my face swollen. Don't see my back if you tryphobic. I got between my dreams and what I see, Moses. No helping hands, only cold fists. Nobody there to kickstand. As a kid, I was afraid of quicksand. Getting older, I realized that a shit wreck from relationships is worse because the distance. So cold all alone, what you do then? They told you they loved you, but they ain't proven. All of a sudden, can't pronounce your name, saying cool flip. That's when I found you, you're the truest. You make beauty from ashes, what you do can't match it. My God, it's a fairy tale. How you shape and fashion my life like it's magic. From down bad to very well. Your love and compassion and grace I can't fathom what I thought was a barrier. Broken pieces on me beyond average. Perfections don't matter, so I'm blessed so I nearly failed.
Okay. So the last product that I put out before Healed is called Broken. And Broken, I'm going to get deeper into it next episode. But Broken really stemmed from the idea of, one, I wanted to make an album, didn't know what to write about. And then one day I was driving in a car and a rock hit my windshield and it broke. So the initial name was going to be called Broken Windshield. So this song is called Broken. And it was supposed to go on, initially Healed and Broken were just one long album. But then we decided to do the rap version on one project and the Healed version on another project. So when I wrote this song, Broken, I initially was just trying to do something fun with my sister Angel. And then as I started writing and singing, I was like, you know what? This can go on my project. But I definitely need her voice. And the idea of being broken is kind of goes back down to Let Me Love You, where it's like, God, you want to love me, right? In fact, you did love me in my brokenness. And now I'm gonna share this story. Let me share this story of when I was hurt, God was right there. When I felt broken, He's the one who patched me up. He fixed me up. I like it. I love this song. I love Angel's voice. There's not much to say about this one. It was just very spur of the moment. We didn't have a studio schedule set up or anything like that. Let's go to Healed. Fixed, which is with my brother and my sister-in-law. Jay Wynn and Meryl Wynn.
It's never too broke to fix it. Scars will ruin their existence. If $100 blemish, its value will never diminish. You see a price tag, you look in the mirror, the sides crack. Now you feeling like your price crashed. You mistake it ain't like that. But you think that you're ethereal. Mistakes lead to commas, not periods. Mistake lead to commas, not period. Not defined by a flawed exterior. That ain't a freckle, it's seasoning. A weakness, that reason, and cheaping me. Heartbroken, but your heart will beat again. Cause his love is enough, it's vehement. Yeah. It ain't the end, no, 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 no. Oh, 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 oh. It can be fixed, yeah, 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 oh, oh.
This song, I always wanted, when I was working on Broken, I always knew I didn't just want it to stop at broken. I knew I wanted to have broken, and then what happens when something's broken? God fixes you. And this song is all about having a broken heart, but God fixing your heart. My favorite lines is, I am your heart, please don't give up on me. So many do and they end up lonely. They trust the wrong ones and I'm injured only. I'm designed to take a beating, Jacob told me. It's like literally the heart is speaking to us. A lot of times we want to be protective of the heart. Our heart is meant to beat. Our heart has purpose. The heart doesn't just stop. It doesn't just freeze. Our heart is meant to take a beating. Our heart is meant to pump blood throughout our bodies. So if we can talk to our heart would not tell us not to love. Our heart would not tell us just to make sure we lock it away in a security box. No. Our heart desires to, our heart loves that rush that it gets when we're with someone that we love. That feeling of ecstasy that just, when you're holding hands, when you're, intimate with your spouse, your heart loves those moments. It's made for this moment. And when your heart is broken, it doesn't mean it's over. And a lot of times we feel like when we're crushed by life, when we're crushed by the brokenness in people, when we're dumped, when we're rejected, when we're thrown away, we then make it a point to say, you know, I'm gonna box myself up, and now I'm gonna be angry and I'm gonna be angry and just be defensive of my heart. That's the wrong way to go, because when you go that direction, now you're not even gonna allow your own heart the opportunity to love. Your heart doesn't only want to be loved, but it wants to give love. And that the picture that's painted in the second verse, I love. Let's listen to the second verse real quick. But I really just love that picture of the heart communicating to us. And it's funny because when I was driving Uber during this time, I remember every time people listen to this song, I'll be just driving and sorry guys, I shamelessly plug myself all the time. So I would always listen to my music. Every time it gets to this song and it gets to this second verse, the people in the back would always get quiet and just listen. I remember one time this girl was like, wow, that's so amazing. Like it really impacted her because it's just, I don't know, it's just, I love it. Let's play it.
Don't ever quit, no, 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 no. Oh, 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 oh. You will be fixed, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
I am your heart, please don't give up on me. So many do and they end up lonely. They trust her on once and I measure only. I'm designed to take a beating, Jacob told me. Blood in, blood out like I'm Paco. Don't trip if you play by some vatos. The scabs will suffocate and take them off, bro. I'm so beat it and I'm not broke. Maybe I need surgery, cause the arteries clog with the hurt you keep. You need to... That's my favorite line. Maybe I need surgery, cause the arteries clog with the hurt you keep. You need to release it urgently. They hit you, but you making it worse to breathe. Come on, you guys. Such a beautiful song. When we hold on to hurt and resentment and all of the problems that people have done, when we hold on to all that, your heart can't beat. Now we're clogging up our own arteries. I can do a full breakdown of the song, but I'm not going to because this is already long. It might be a 2-part podcast. But just that image, like, let it go. Release it urgently, they hit you, but you making it worse to breathe. It's okay to love again, love yourself so I don't implode with it. I'm your heart and I'm delicate, but I'm strong enough and I'm allowed to spread. And then Jay and Meryl come in.
So you will never leave. When I was broken, you came and fixed me. You put me back together, and now that we're together, I feel brand new. You're always by my side, forever I'm and I'ma hold on, cause I'm afraid of forever I'm in love, cause you're the only one, only one. Broken in half and done and done and done, but you made me whole again. Yeah, you made me whole again. You fix me. 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 You.
Shout out to Jay, man. I love his verse because it really ties in everything. Like, it's like I'm encouraging the audience, and then the heart is encouraging the audience. And then my brother comes in and reminds us all, like, at the end of the day, God is the one who fixes us whom we allow. So beautiful, y'all. All right, next song, Healed. Yeah. All right. I told my dad this, so he ain't gonna sue me. But I sampled his song. Let's go to my dad's song real quick. I don't own the rights to this song, but I sampled him. He'll be fine. Okay, so when I was 13, 14 years old, I was 14 because I was a freshman in high school. My dad broke his femur, and then he kind of like went down this whole, like, God changed the trajectory of his life. And I think the year after that, he started working on his album called Perspective. The first song on that album is called Be Healed. And Be Healed is a song written by him and my auntie. And I remember obviously it's a beautiful story. Let's play a little bit of it.
The Word of God declares on Isaiah 53 and 5 that Jesus was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. October 30th, 2007. I did my normal routine, started with morning prayer at 6 a.m. Went to the gym, did my normal workout, started on the treadmill. After loosening up, I was prepared for weightlifting. But as I was walking on the treadmill, my thigh began to hurt. said to myself, no pain, no gain. And I kept on walking. I wanted to increase my speed since I was in pain. I only increased my pace. As I ran, I heard my left leg crack. I didn't know what happened. I went into shock. And while I was in the emergency room, I found out I broke my left femur. Oh my God. The doctors had to perform surgery. And as I was recovering, laying in the bed, trying to figure out what was going on with all the mixed messages in my head, feelings of confusion and frustration and anger, I needed a word from the Lord. I needed a word from the Lord.
Okay, so multiple things. Shout out to my dad, Bishop John Wynn, and his album Perspective. If you've been following my music for the past decade, I'm always sampling my dad. Anytime there's a sample, it's my dad because one, I know he's not gonna sue me, and two, because of the impact that his album actually made in my music career. I know this is gonna be a long episode, whatever. So when I was 14, so he started working on this album when I was 15 years old. I remember being in the mix sessions for this, and I just remember they were long sessions, long days. I remember one time I fell asleep, and I kept waking up to them mixing this part. I'll go to it.
Yield to me. The Lord spoke to me in His Word and told me, by His stripes, I'm healed. I'm healed. I kept on praying. I kept on focusing. It brought back to my mind, remember, to say I'm healed. Oh, my brothers, my sisters, it doesn't matter what the sickness is that you are engaged in. Mentally, physically, or spiritually, you're healed. You're healed today. You have the victory. Oh, hallelujah. Glory to God. Hallelujah.
Shout out to my Auntie Juanita. She slayed these vocals. I actually sent her this album, and she was like, she said when she heard Healed on my album, not my dad's album, sorry. I sent her the song, my album Healed, and when she heard the song, she said she cried. And I thought that was so beautiful because, yeah, it's her vocals that I'm sampling on that. That little section I just showed you is what I sampled on the song. But no, my dad and my Auntie Juanita played such a huge role in just my desire to pursue music more seriously, my desire to be creative, to do storytelling. My mom be getting mad at me for, airing out all my business and my music, but this man is talking about, breaking his leg. So it's like just having that opportunity, because at that point, I was heavy on the drums, super just, I wanted to be the next Tony Webster Jr. But after this project and going through this process, it kind of did make me, like I told y'all before, the reason why I started making music was because I was trying to be on this album, That's why I started producing. So, yeah, I love it. So now as we go back to Healed, as I was so I remember, I was like, okay, cool. I thought my album was finished. So first it was gonna be called Broken Windshield. It was gonna be 10 songs, right? And a lot of it is some of what is on the album Broken and some of these songs. But then I was like, yo, it's missing something. And I'm like, oh, God can fix you, but God heals you as well. So I said, I need to do a song called Healed. I said, I need a beat. I said, you know what? Let me sample my dad's song. That's Be Healed. So that's the sample on here. And I was just trying to let the idea out. Didn't know if I was going to use it or not. So this is also, the majority of these songs on this album, I pretty much did when I recorded them. I didn't go back and fix anything except tempo. But every other song, what you hear is what I did. Healed, I had to go to the airport. So this is essentially a reference track, but I got demo ears. I fell in love with it. Let's listen. Yeah. And when I did, I reversed the sample. Yeah. This song is a piece of how I was feeling and also a piece of conversation that I had with my wife, which is as you get older and you go through life, you kind of see who you used to be, how optimistic you used to be, how encouraged you used to be, how motivated you used to be, how enthusiastic you used to be. But then as life goes on, life gets hard, things get difficult, you start to see there becomes a distance between the optimism that you once had and the current bitterness that you're sitting in, or the hope that you used to have and the current resentment that you have. So I really wanted to express that because as me and my wife have these ideas, and as I get older, like I said, she's a few years older than me, and in your 20s, it makes a difference because your outlook is just so much more bright. So, yeah, let's continue.
Feel like I'm the worst, I won't let you debate me. If you can hear my thoughts, you tell Arkham to take me. Alone with her, I won't keep it all safety. I think I'm over it, but I remember it vaguely. I think about decisions and I start to berate me. I'm not even a victim, I can only blame me. I wanna let it go before I do something crazy. I wanna let it go before I do something crazy. I wanna let it go before I do something crazy. I wanna be held, be held. The answer is God. The answer is God. The answer is
The main message that I had to include in this, because this is essentially an R&B album. It's a Christian album. This is like a gospel album disguised as an R&B album, essentially. And I needed to have this message that Luke is not the answer to Diana's problems. Luke is not the answer to your problems. We may have gone through similar things. But the actual answer is God. We have romantic relationships, we have friendships, we have family, we have all these different things that we go through where when you're putting your heart out there, yes, it's gonna get hurt sometimes. Yes, it's gonna get cold and lonely, but the answer to everything is literally God. So this message was so important for me to put into this project because this is what I stand for. I stand for God, and I trust and believe that God is not just this mystic being from the past. Jesus isn't just some fairy tale. But no, like right now, I see God consistently operating and ordering my life all the time. Let's go to the next song. Okay, so a month after I wrote this song, as I explained earlier, we ended up having a birthday party for my daughter, Faith. It was her first birthday party. So David and his family came, and I remember just playing the music. We were playing Camilo. They heard this, him and his wife at the time, they heard this song. Shout out to Sandy. I love Sandy. They heard this song and they loved it. And that always stuck with me. Anytime certain people, they compliment you or you can kind of see how like a song impacts them, it always sticks with me forever. So then fast forward 3 years later, David came to my house, literally right here. He was literally right there recording. Or he just to vibe, he's kind of going through it with his family. And like I knew I wanted to do a song with him, but I couldn't think of what. Because in the original version, there's multiple versions, but in the original version, I'm the one singing the Spanish. My wife, she helped write it. But so in the original version, it's me. And I was like, you know what? This will be dope if I could collaborate with this dude. Another reason why I wanted him to be on this song was so that he can, think about his family, think about his ex, think about his daughters, and see like how he can be more involved and, just fight for him. So I thought it would be perfect for him to be on it, and eventually he shared it with his daughters, and that's really what I wanted, them to just know that he's always thinking about them. So just wanted to throw him a lob. So let's play it.
Oye, bebé,
yeah.
tú sabes que mi amor es todo tuyo.
Sometimes you gotta change up the tempo a little bit.
Esta canción es tuya, mami.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Slow down the tempo. Don't worry, we'll take it real slow.
No te asustes que no se acaba el tiempo.
Don't miss out, life is blissful.
Hay que vivir la vida.
Don't miss the present by rushing like Ingram. Enjoy the moment.
tiraderías que yo no sé.
Neglected moments never okay. Life is so beautiful. Yeah. Things you won't even know. Sometimes you need to slow down and find someone you can hold. Change up the pace, change up the pace.
No apresures, no apresures.
Yeah, so that song was a little vibe. It was honestly, originally it wasn't gonna make it because of how bad the original cut was. But then once he got on it, he just took it to a whole new level. So shout outs to David. And I already explained that song. So let's go to the next one. This next one is yours, and it's really this next one I wrote this one in LA. It's one of those like just vibes. I was like, you know what? Let me just give my wife an anthem, let her know that I'm yours. We can argue, but guess what? I'ma still be right here. I'ma still be right here, even after we done.
Hey, it could be the winter, spring, or fall. I promise that my heart won't change at all. I go through emotions in love, in awe, or mad, upset, depressed, appalled. Don't be confused, it's an argument when you win love, that's a part of it. I see the change, remains my heart shows ain't nothing to bargain with. Nah, it's yours, yeah. It's yours, yeah. It's yours, yeah. It's yours, yeah. But tell me, do you want it, want it? Do you want it, want it?
Yeah, so it's just a vibe. Just was trying to be all poetic and stuff like that. It could be the winter, spring, or fall. I promise that my love won't change at all. It was literally just something to bop with. I wasn't going to use that song, but then the homie got on it. Shout out to my boy, Bebe Kid Peso. He got on it and went stupid. I said, oh, this is definitely making the album.
It's yours if you want it.
It's yours, yours. To the sky you will soar, soar. Don't wanna feel the pain no more. Bow my head, pray to the Lord. Still stop copying, no pocket watching. When I was on my own, I felt I had no option. When I was a kid, I was always watching. Still always watching. Yours, you got it.
Once again, I love that he kind of points everybody back to God, where it's like, that's the whole point of this album, right? It's like telling my wife, I'm yours, but at the same time, it's telling God, I'm yours too. Love it. All right, 2 more songs and we're almost out of here. This is a very long episode. I could talk about my music forever, so I'm really excited. I hope you guys are enjoying this brief. It's not brief, but it's not an in-depth dissection either. This next one, Mr. Incredible, this talks about the first time me and Diana met.
Sometimes I get in my feelings, for real. Let me talk.
Story time.
Yeah. I swear it was love at first sight, yeah. Well, maybe it wasn't like that. You walked in with a nice hat.
She walks in with a nice hat, so I know I'm stopping it a lot. We almost done. But so I met my wife. I don't know, it's so funny. I used to work at a jail. I was a chaplain, so it was my job to pray for inmates. It was my job to give them library books, put them in programs, give them GED tests, everything. I was up close and personal with all the inmates with literally no security around me. Like, I don't think anybody else had that type of interactions with me. Like, the closest security, the closest corrections officer or sheriff deputy would be like far in a whole different unit. It's crazy. I had a whole unit and it was just me and my subordinates. Anyways, so Diana, she wanted to do ministry. So I remember she called the jail trying to do ministry for her church. And for some reason, I just wanted to have fun with her. So like, I remember asking, I said, hey, are you sure you want to do this? I said, okay, if you want to do ministry, I need you to preach to me on the phone. And she was like stunned, like, what? I said, I'm just kidding. Okay, one of the reasons why I played around was because I was the youngest person by a mile who did ministry in prison. Everybody else was usually honestly, like a 70, 80-year-old white guy. You know, like everybody was very old. They were retired. Like I was literally the youngest person. I think the next youngest person was like 55, 56, something like that. Love all those people. Shout outs to Pastor Smith. Shout outs to Chaplain Lorraine. Rest in heaven. I know you're enjoying it. But anyways, so when I first met Diana, I had to interview her for this position. Not a position, but I had to just let her know what the process was to do ministry in a jail. So let's continue.
Sun walked in so high, yeah. You know I had to try.
Yes, so she's wearing a hat, which is funny because in her mind, she said she did not want to, and we'll have to go deeper into this on another episode, but she was just trying to make it all about God. So she intentionally wore this workout outfit. She had a hat on, just trying to be inconspicuous. She brought her son. She did not want anything to be about her. And it's so funny because when we first met, I did not realize how attractive she was. I just thought she was a really cool person with a dope story, and I was just excited that a young person was going to be doing ministry, to be honest.
Playing cool, yeah. Hit you with my name and how are you? Yeah. Your face seemed familiar, deja vu. Yeah. That's probably why I felt so comfortable. Yeah. I opened up my heart and so did you. Yeah. You were crying like a baby need a food. Yeah. We were in the lobby with the crew. Yeah. Time to go, didn't wanna leave the room. Yeah. Wait, nah. That day I found my missing link, and the rest is history. A present that God gifted me, knew I needed a different breed. I feel like Mr. Incredible.
Okay, the reason why I feel like Mr. Incredible, because I remember my dad once said he loved The Incredibles because it was like a family movie. It was a cartoon that was all about family, all about loving and supporting each other. And just the feeling that I got being with my wife, it's like that's what I have, ba-da-da, 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 ba-da-da. Okay. Anyways, that's the music that be playing as I'm pulling up from work, Just, she makes me feel special. I'm a superhero because I have her. We got 5 minutes left, so we're going to go to my last song. This last song is called Headline. Shout out to my sister Farrah because I have told her that I wanted to quit doing music so many times, and she has always been the one who has motivated me. So let me see if I can get her on a call. Yeah, so I remember I was driving back from Las Vegas to Phoenix, and I was like, man, I'm over this music stuff. I need to focus on something concrete. And she was like, relax, not yet. So she gave me some motivation, so let's talk to her real quick if she's going to answer.
Your call has been forwarded.
She always screens my calls.
Hello?
Hey, Farrah, you are on the Confessions
2087.
No, we
Are you
on,
crazy?
Hey, we're on a podcast. You're on my podcast, Farrah.
What podcast? Right now? Live?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Okay, so for this podcast, I am pretty much dissecting all my albums, starting with Healed, going back to For Christ.
You didn't want to schedule this?
No, I'm good. This is brief. Okay, so the reason why you're on is because my last song on my last album, called Headline, it's about a conversation that me and you had. And it's about me talking to you about quitting, about wanting to quit music, and you pretty much talked me out of it.
And I concurred. I'm sorry, live audience. I can't help but be me.
No, so talk to the audience real quick. You got 2 minutes about how often I have tried to quit and you've encouraged me to keep going.
Get on this side.
Well, I gotta say,
Get on this side.
I think it's natural. Everybody gets to that point where they want to give up. So I can't really say the amount of times, but I do understand that at the times that you've wanted to quit is just because maybe things aren't panning out the way that you want them to, or things don't look the way that you think they should. And it's a natural thing that happens. But the thing I will say...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The thing I will say is that as a personal fan of yours, I've seen how your music has encouraged me and how it's touched me and changed my life. And to just the idea of you not producing any more quality music that has a quality message and a quality sound, it would break my heart. And so outside of being related, I really believe in your ministry and what you have to offer to the world. So I would hate to see you quit.
Wow, thank you so much, Farrah. And it's so funny because around the time when I was thinking talking about this time, which was 2021, I literally thought that I had reached the cap of how good I was ever going to be. And it's so funny because in the last 3 years, I've taken such giant leaps in the quality in the music, in my writing, in my production, and my mixing. That's like if I would have stopped there and not had this conversation with you and you not really encouraged me, I would still be just as, not bad, but I would only be one step ahead of where I was back then, you know? So I do have to thank you for that, Farrah.
Well, that means a lot. And thank you for trusting me to be somebody that you can lean on in a time like that. Like, I know that's not easy. So, yeah, thank you.
No, you've always been my twin.
Where have you been?
Hey, do you remember when they used to call me Patches?
I don't, actually. I've heard a lot about it. I think I probably was way too young for that.
Yeah. Farrah was my twin growing up, but then like that season of my life where I had patches, like ringworms, we weren't twinning, but for the most part, we've always been twins. I started the album out talking about that story. I mean, I started this podcast off talking about how they used to call me Patches, so that's why I brought that up. But Farrah, thank you so much.
Patches O'Houlihan.
I was the original. That's what I told y'all. I said it. I said it. I love you, Farrah.
I love you. Enjoy the show.
Oh, also, I produced some dope songs with Farrah. She hung up, but yeah, we made magic. So let's listen to this. We're going to go out, and it's going to be lit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time, but I'm happy to say that we're here right now, and it's just the beginning.
I fell more than 10 times. Never started out with shit from the big side. They ain't even know I got the sick vibes. I let it get to me, but now I'm just fine. I've been quiet, now I'm feeling kick mine. With a collection plate like I'm about to get ties. No more blocking me, I'm crossing red lines. From the fine print, for that be the headline. From the fine print, now I'm the headline. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, now I'm the headline.
I love that song, y'all. And it's so funny because obviously I'm not physically where I thought I would be when it comes to music. I'm not where I imagined that I would be. But the growth. And we're going to see, you know, every week we come in here and we're breaking down all these older albums and older. The heart was always there. The determination was always there. But you'll be able to see, like, the growth that I've had in the last, like, just the constant growth over the last 14 years has been incredible. My first project that I ever recorded was in 2010. And just when I look back from then to now, I can get upset as to the fact of, you know, maybe I don't have any traction in the industry that I thought I would have. But I can't deny that I am making some music that I know is going to make my kids proud. I know the music, it already makes them proud. They love my music. They love Daddy's music. When I play my music in the car, Nia will say, "Thank you, Daddy." I think that means the most to me right now. Like, I'm going to continue to pursue and make music so that they can know, like, they have something in this, you know? This legacy is not just about me. It is for my kids, for my wife, to leave something for, you know, for the world. And if I die before I blow up, I'm a legend. Like, somebody's going to find this. This music that I'm putting out, I believe that even if I die 10 years from now, when it's all said and done and anybody ever picks this up, it's going to be amazing. It's going to impact people. And I hope that my daughters and my son, they can impact the world and do what I do. They can sample my music, rewrite my music, re-sing some of it. I do it for them. So what's your confessions for today? Have you ever been cool with being made fun of about your eternal things, but being vulnerable internally? Was that ever a struggle for you? Do you still struggle with opening up, allowing your emotions to flourish in your music? Let me implore you. Do not allow your insecurities, your hurts, your pains, your flaws to cause you to just bottle up all your emotions and put a fake facade out in your art. Allow your art out into the world because there's so many people who you can impact, who you can affect. But you just have to be honest, be vulnerable, allow your emotions to be on wax, and it'll change the world. I love y'all. You already know we have a group. Follow us on Instagram. New album is dropping in June probably, just because the homie Miles is dropping his single in May. So I'm gonna respect that. I love y'all. And if you guys like this format, let me know, because I'm definitely enjoying this. All right, y'all.
Yeah, this is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional.